So as people are arriving, we're just going to leave it open just a bit more because there's quite a large number of people trying to get into the call. We do record these sessions, and I will repeat that. We are recording. So please keep in mind, we would love to have you on video so that we can see who was all in the room, but know that that is going to be part of the document. If you speak, typically it records it when your voice is said out loud. We post those on our living room sessions tab on the Christina T. Miller Sustainable Jewelry Consulting website. So you'll be able to see those there. Okay, 34. This is great. Okay, so Maggie, would you like to open up? We're gonna also start instituting just a bit of a reminder about ground rules, not just housekeeping, but also ground rules for these kinds of international community meetings. Maggie, you can do any part which you're comfortable and then hand it back over.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. This is an awesome Friday to get together. And we're really lucky to have Pauline Mundia and Patricia Inonge Zita Mweene joining us today to talk about colored gemstones in Zambia.
And Susan Wheel. Yeah.
And, I'm sorry. Susan, of course, is our rock star who help us put all of this together, and we wouldn't be doing this without Susan. So we're really excited to hear from Susan and hear about the Zambia Initiative as well. So we have a bit of a discussion that we're going to do first, and we've got a few questions to go through. But if you've got questions as we're talking, please feel free to put them in the chat, or you can raise your hand. We'll focus this discussion more on Patricia and Pauline and Susan for the first part, and then we'll have more of a question answer back and forth after that. So I will let you, Christina, introduce the speakers.
Sure.
And we have their entire follow-up email.
Great. So anyone that is joining, again, just a reminder that we are recording this, and it will be on our website. So we're a small consultancy, sustainable jewelry consultancy. And for those of you that are new on the living room, we always have new folks. So we started this, in the face of COVID, wanting to make sure that we all were still connected. And because so many great conferences were being rescheduled or in some cases canceled, and we weren't going to be seeing each other in person. And so as it emerged, or as it evolved, we realized we have this incredible opportunity to bring people from all over the world together and have these conversations. So for these, we really would appreciate if you, when you use the chat function, if you would submit the chat to everyone. If there's a connection that you would like us to make for you directly between individuals, if you're not comfortable sharing that in the chat, that you would like to meet someone or have an email exchange, we would prefer that you email that to us privately. We're learning a little bit about best practices in these kinds of conversations, and we don't want anyone to feel put upon or uncomfortable with private chats going on that aren't public for the audience. So if you need a networking connection and you'd like us to follow up or make that bridge after the call, we're very happy to do that for you. But I think most things can be put directly into the chat if they are questions or clarifications of the things that we're discussing. So I hope that makes sense. This is also a safe space, so there will be no language tolerated that expresses racism, sexism, any of those topics are not allowed in this space, right? We are a kind and generous group of people, and we would like to keep it that way. So I am incredibly thrilled, amazed, grateful that we have Pastor Pauline Mundia with us today. Pauline, would you please wave so everyone knows where you are? There she is. She is coming to us from Zambia through the satellite airwaves, and we are incredibly lucky to have her. She is currently the elected Secretary General of the Association of Zambian Women in Mining. She's also the Vice President of the Federation of Small-Scale Mining Associations of Zambia and the Vice President of African Women in Mining Association for the South African chapter. She's also serving as board member of the Zambia Extractive Council, representing the interests of artisanal and small-scale mining. She is also a miner, and we are incredibly grateful to have you here. Would you like to quickly say hello to everyone, Pauline, before I do the next introduction? Oh, she just muted. I'll unmute you. Is it working? Here we go. Oh, patience. Is it working? I'll let her. There you are. You're unmuted.
Can you get me?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm so excited to be part of this living room session. I'm so excited. I'm just looking forward to it. Thank you.
Welcome. So we also have with us Patricia Inonge Zita Mweene. Can you wave, Patricia, so everyone can see where you are? Thank you. She's joining us today from Copenhagen, same time zone, right? Pauline and Patricia, you're actually on the same line on the earth in terms of the way time works. And Patricia is the founder and designer of Inonge Zita. I met her 2 years ago at the first Chicago Responsible Jewelry Conference. She was one of Susan Wheeler's guests at the conference. And so it's been great to follow the development of your work over time. She's a sustainable fine jewelry brand specializing in Zambian gemstones in particular. And the brand was started by Patricia as a way of contributing to the development of the gem cutting and jewelry manufacturing industry in Zambia, which we'll learn a little bit more about today. She was born in Lusaka, but grew up in the mining town of Ndola. And as I mentioned, she currently lives in Denmark. Would you like to quickly say hello so people can hear you?
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, welcome. And Susan Wheeler with us today. You've heard from her now on a few occasions, but this is particularly significant because of the work that she's doing, kicked up sort of as an urgent response to COVID, but her work is evolving into something quite different and I think valuable for the future of gemstone trade globally. She's the founder of Susan Wheeler Design and is really devoted to the movement of forwarding the movement of responsible jewelry. She's the founder of the Chicago Responsible Jewelry Conference, is a board member of Ethical Metalsmiths, and most recently, and this we'll hear a little bit more about, she's founded Responsible Jewelry Transformative, a nonprofit, and is leading the Zambia Gemstone Initiative. So welcome to all three of our guests. We do hope that for the rest of you on the line, you will pop in your questions into the chat so that we can keep up, or give us a signal by unmuting your microphone if there is an opportunity to pop in. We have a few questions to kick off with, and we're going to spend some of this early time with Pauline. So we would love to hear a little bit more, Pauline, about colored gemstone mining in Zambia. Can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved and what is it like? What is the gemstone industry like in Zambia?
Thank you very much. Now, where do I start from? But then to start with, I would say that I've been in the sector for more than 30 years as a gemstone miner. And I've been involved in mining amethyst, which is the same precious gemstone. It is very interesting. And this has exposed me to meeting a lot of people. And also being part of the gemstone industry, it has really encouraged a number of women who have become miners, and at the same time, some of them are actually traders. My mine is in the southern part of Zambia. It is a small scale mine. And I can say it is 100% manual, but then from time to time we do hire, of course, some equipment, especially excavators or a bulldozer, just trying to mine to produce our gemstones. But then in general, when we talk about Zambia, for a long time, people, when we are talking about mining, people would always think about copper. But then in the recent years, Zambia started mining the colored gemstones. In Zambia, we have got two major players, for emeralds, and we have got one major player in amethyst. And these are the two major gemstones that we have in Zambia, the emerald and then the amethyst. So this is what is produced in bulk. And like for the emeralds, the emerald mining started in 1970. In the 70s, that's when it started. And so far, Zambia is proud, to own a mine that I would say is the largest or the biggest open pit mine in the whole world that produces emerald, and that is Kagem. And in 2018, it actually produced 1.1 kg emerald clean crystal with even color. And you can imagine everybody was so excited about it. And then apart from Kagem, we also have Grizzly Mine, which is also another big player in the colored gemstones in emerald mining. And in 2019, this company also produced 150 kg of an emerald crystal, though it was not as clean as the 1 kg which was produced by Kagem. But now it was a low to medium grade crystal, but weighing 50 kg one piece. It was so amazing. And then we have got Kariba Minerals that produces amethyst. It is known for the deep purple amethyst. And I can say that in the world, it is one of the biggest open pit amethyst mine in the world. But now, for us, the small players like myself, in the emerald mining area, there are about more than 400 small players that are mining emeralds. Then in the amethyst mining belt, there are about 70 to 80 small players that are mining amethyst. So I can say that Zambia, has really made an impact where it concerns the gemstone mining globally.
So the fact that you are a leader in several organizations aimed to bring people that are working in mining together. Can you describe a little bit about the function of those groups? How do you use your leadership in those groups to advance ideas, and what are you, from your leadership, what are you trying to influence with regard to mining in Zambia?
Okay, so to start with, and let me just start with maybe the Association of Zambian Women in Mining. You know, as you are aware that mining previously, you know, was male dominated, or maybe probably, I would say male populated. There were more men into mining than women. So now when the women started mining, it was not easy, you know, and also women have got a lot of challenges. They're more vulnerable than men. So the only way, you know, we can really, we could make an impact was come together and then form the Association of Zambian Women in Mining. And the whole purpose of having this association, you know, is to come up with a big voice that will be able to influence the government, you know, on issues pertaining to gender mainstreaming in mining. And of course, out of that, we have achieved, because at the moment, there is even a desk, you know, a gender desk for mining. And we have got a liaison officer, you know, with the Minister of Gender, who is able, you know, to liaise with the Minister of Mines on issues pertaining women in mining. And the other purpose was for advocates, you know, advocating so that the issues of women in mining, you know, can really be appreciated. And we have been lobbying also for for women, you know, to be recognized. And in doing so, I am one of the women that was recognized by the Zambia chambers, and I was given a trophy. I was awarded a trophy in the male-dominated industry, which is the Women of the Year. That was in 2015. And then in 2014, Mary November, another woman, was also given the same trophy. And then sometime back in 2005, I was awarded a Presidential Exporters Award as a woman. You know, so all this, it is out of, you know, having this organization working together and also sharing ideas and, you know, making it easy for us to network.
Yeah, there's such the need to work as a community. We see that reflected no matter where you are in the world, for sure. And so I appreciate you sharing that by working together, you've been able to gain recognition for yourself, which is worthy, and also for other women that are working in the space. Can you describe a little bit about sort of what you imagine as you're doing your work? You know, what do you imagine the future? Where would you like to see the future of Zambian gemstone mining, and maybe in particular, sort of the lives of artisanal gemstone miners? Where would you like to see that being in the future?
You know, in future, I would like to see a picture whereby, you know, the people that actually involved in artisanal mining, you know, they're able to graduate from artisanal mining. Now they graduate to small scale mining, and those that are in small scale mining, they should be able to graduate to medium scale mining, and those that are in medium scale mining also be able to graduate to large scale, you know, because then that way, you know, they will be in a position to contribute effectively, you know, to the economy of Zambia, you know, in way of creating more jobs. As you are aware that most of the operations, you know, of gemstone mining, whether it's large scale or small scale is done in the remote areas. And mining is actually the only source of employment for the community there. And once there's this kind of graduation, then I'm seeing a picture whereby the sector will be able to contribute more in export earnings, and at the same time, through there will be an increase in taxes, especially through mineral royalties. And I would like to see a situation where instead of just selling our stones in rough form, now we develop, a situation whereby we are able to add value to the gemstones. See, because in doing that, then we are also creating a market locally in Zambia, and also, we are trying to enhance the linkage between tourism and the gemstone mining.
Thank you. In particular, right now, we know that you've been very concerned about the well-being and health of miners all over the country. Can you tell us a little bit about, for those that you have this vision that they will be able to graduate out of artisanal mining and move on? For those that are in it right now and are facing COVID and their realities, can you describe a little bit of the situation, how extreme it is, how is it being addressed, what kind of help have the organizations been able to provide? So can you just share a little bit about what's happening with regard to COVID in Zambia?
No, the impacts really have been very negative, this COVID-19 pandemic, especially in terms of sales. In terms of sales, a lot of our members have really found it difficult to sell our produce, because in Zambia there is no established marketing mechanism, because we depend on international buyers who come to buy gemstones in Zambia. But now with this global lockdown, it has made it very impossible, for buyers to travel to Zambia to buy the gemstones. So as a result, a lot of our members have found it very difficult even to continue their operations, because their cash flow has been affected badly. And as a result, some have reduced the workforce, and some have actually stopped and waiting until such time when the pandemic is over. So now there has been, a crisis of food, to buy food for the workers. As I had mentioned much earlier, that our operations are manual, and manual work needs a lot of food for somebody to have strength. So it has not been easy. So as a result, you find that workers, most of the time, even the little manpower that has remained, most of them, they absent themselves, because they don't have food. See, so they don't even report for work. So what we have done now, through collaboration with Susan and of course Monica, we have come up with this online marketing, which is helping. And also we appreciate what Susan has done, to come up with the food initiative drive. And we did the first full food initiative drive last month, which was very, very, very successful. And then the other issue, as an association, we are helping in sensitizing the community there, on how they can keep safe during this pandemic, but then it takes a bit of time. And also they need, we are soliciting, you know, trying to get donations from other organizations so that we can help with, you know, buying hand sanitizers for them. At the same time, also buying the face mask for them, because most of the community, they cannot afford, they can't afford. And in Zambia, it is mandatory that everyone should wear a mask. And especially, you know, if one has to go to the clinic, especially those people that are in the remote areas, without a mask, you cannot be attended to. So we are trying by all means to help the community, you know, by providing the mask, which they cannot be able to afford, and also the sanitizers and also the sensitization.
It is, continues to be such a heavy situation. So I want to bring in, there's a lot of conversation happening in the chat right now that we would like to bring in. I'm going to start off with Monica Stevenson, kind of asking about, I need to do a little scrolling here to find it. She's wondering, what is the relationship, you know, is there, because we hear with some other, in other countries and with other minerals and stones, we hear about conflicts between large scale mining and artisanal or small scale mining, where the, you know, where either the concessions are bumping up against one another, or the large mine hasn't dealt with the fact that there are artisanal miners that have long been in the area. So those are only 2 of 100 different examples of how those relationships happen. Can you talk about how, are there tensions there, or are there ways that the groups can get along with each other, or what do you experience?
In Zambia, you know, especially in the Kala Gemstone, the story is quite different. We have the big players. Actually, they are not very helpful, but they are helpful. I cannot say that we don't get on. We do get on, but then what the help that we desire to get from them, we don't really get it. You know, because like, since they are big players and we are the small players, these are the people that can also help us even in marketing our product. But they don't do that. They don't do that. Because we are brothers and sisters, and have been there for much longer time, and they are more exposed. So we expect them, you know, to give a hand, especially in the issues of marketing, and also even in the issues of the actual mining, the extraction, because they themselves, you know, their operations are fully mechanized, unlike ourselves. See, but see, every time when we approach them, you know, to say, can you help us in this direction, maybe with equipment, they don't really help. And also even the issue of auctioning, our big brothers actually auction their gemstones either locally here in Zambia, or they auction them on the international market. But they are not able, you know, to help us, you know, by auctioning the gemstones on our behalf. They fail to do that. So it is our hope that one day, you know, they will be able to help us in that direction, especially on marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've noted that that's a request, that there be assistance. The larger companies have such reach, they have mechanisms to get their stones to market in a different way. I think this is, because of some of the questions that are popping up, I think this is a really good time to bring up, you know, there's people have questions just generally, so if Zambia is relying primarily on international buyers coming to the country, what it's causing are some questions about the export process. So if people wanted to buy stones directly from Zambia, and we'll get to Susan, how Susan's doing this in a minute, and then how Patricia's been handling this in a minute. But how are your stones getting out of the country to the international market now, like in the other direction? Instead of them coming to you, how are you getting them out now?
You know, because in Zambia, our law does not encourage smuggling. It doesn't encourage smuggling, because there is a procedure of documentation. You know, any stone that is exported outside Zambia, you know, it should have the right documentation, because it needs to be valued by a gemologist, a government gemologist. They're the one that gives you the valuation, because they're the one that gives you the valuation certificate. And then the revenue authority, you know, they have to make sure that you are paying your mineral royalty before they give you the mineral royalty certificate. After you get the mineral royalty certificate from the revenue authority, then that's when now the Ministry of Mines gives you the export permit. And without the export permit, there's no way any freight company can accept to ship your product. So those are the three procedures.
Susan, would you pop in at this time? So Pauline, since you and Susan have been working so closely together on this project, how about we have Susan kind of explain a little bit about a pathway that you're building together, so that jewelers, independent designers can buy stones from you and other artisanal miners in Zambia. So
Yes,
Susan.
Definitely, thanks. So the other partners are also Ajax Africa, Monica Gachui, and Jessica Hudson, the Nomad Jeweler. And what we did was when, you know, we had to cancel the conference in Zambia, which we were really looking forward to. And we still wanted to continue working with Zambia. And Monica Gachui had facilitated, you know, working with the Federation. And Pauline is also Vice President of the Federation. Pauline, you have so many titles. So there's a contract between the Federation of Artisanal and Small Scale Miners, mining associations in Zambia, and running through my new non-for-profit, the Responsible Jewelry Transformative, that was brought about because of COVID. So that contract says that we do 20% premium. 10% is given by the Federation members, and 10% is a premium put on the gems purchased. And then that goes back to the food drives, which Pauline did herself, the first food drive, and with the proceeds from the sales. And how it's working right now is and Pauline, just thank you so much, Pauline, running this. It started with Joseph, the president of the Federation, and now Pauline and the Women's Association is running the program, and it is a lot of work. I mean, all the time, Pauline, we're like, tell us about this, you know, miner, tell us about these gems, putting together the spreadsheets, weighing the pieces. So the way it works now from the designer end is you email us. You can, I put it up a few times, I'll put it up again, the links, and then we bring you on as a responsible buyer. We have a manifesto about kind of the ethos of the program and people coming on. And we send a spreadsheet of all, at this point, 335 gems that are listed. We have everything from rough. Pauline sent some beautiful cut. Other people sent some cut gems. They're cut in Zambia. The gems are all coming through the Federation members. So once you get the spreadsheet, you can look over that. We send out photos. Some people send out videos, photos of the gems, and it's a lot of communication. And it's a new way of purchasing for designers. And it's also a new way of selling for many of the miners and dealers who are used to having gem dealers come in from other countries and purchase from them. So across platforms, we're all kind of pioneering this together, but it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot that we can do, you know, as designers that we haven't been able to do before. Some people, you can choose to have your gemstones exported rough, or you can choose to have them cut in country with Patricia's cutting shop, Inonge Zita. We have another cutter coming on, Mukosha, who's doing a foundation to benefit ASM miners. And the Federation also has a cutting machine. So there's, one of the pieces I'm sending to Germany to Eder Obelstein to be cut. So it's kind of like you buy the rough and the world is your oyster. And it's a program right now that's taking a lot of work on Pauline's, on all of the people participating on the Zambia end, and also with Jessica Hudson is, you know, and I are running the designer end. So yeah, I mean, questions?
Yeah, thank you. So Susan, we spoke, you and Maggie and I spoke to really get a sense of how this program is working. And there were two things that I wanted to highlight and see if we could bring out a little more of that between you and Pauline and Patricia. But, and that is, this is the idea of working with jewelry designers, sort of the gemstone sellers, the miners and the sellers working with the jewelry designers, has presented a whole new challenge and opportunity. So because what you're looking for, what jewelry designers are looking for is not necessarily a lot of not meaning many, but like a parcel that is huge that you can have cut, and it's all the cuts then are exactly the same size and everything is calibrated to this thing. Often what is being looked for is something unique, something special, a limited set for a particular design. So Pauline, I am curious, how have you had to adjust your thinking and talk with the various associations that you work with to evolve or address this new opportunity? What have you had to do differently than what you've been used to?
You know, and Christina, I think when Susan proposed that, it was something that, to start with, we didn't really understand it very well because we are doing it for the first time. But then after, you know, explaining, we got so excited, and then we informed our members about it, and they said, let's give it a try. So, and you know, we are used to having physical markets whereby, you know, you can see the buyer, you know, you can talk to each other. But now, here the situation whereby
Okay. Oops, she got muted. She's still talking. Unmute. I pressed it. Oh. Oh, you're back. You were muted for a moment.
I'm on. I'm back now?
You're back, yeah.
Okay, I'm back. So I was saying that when Susan, I mean, brought that idea, it was something that is new. You know, when a concept is new, people don't understand it. It takes a bit of time for real people to appreciate it. But then eventually, when we saw the idea to our members, and then they say, let's give it a try. And out of that trial, there was a sales that were done, and that's now it opened up the mind of our members. So now everybody is eager to sell, and especially that there are no buyers. There are no people coming because of the COVID. So we believe that this online marketing, it has really come so that it can cushion, the financial crisis that is there, on the part of the ASM. So we are working really very hard, to really promote it, and it's not easy because we have to communicate with our members that are outside Lusaka, and for them, you have to show them you have to send pictures the way the pictures are supposed to be sent, and with time, that they're getting to understand the whole thing, and we believe that very soon, a lot of our members, appreciate more, and they'll be bringing their stones, so that they can be having the online marketing.
If we have a minute, I have something to read from Kennedy. I'm going to read, Pauline, what Kennedy sent in. So, Monica Gachui was laughing when Jessica Hudson and I were saying, we need to know who the people are. We get some people are the women miners submitting gems. Some people are, miners. And then we saw Kennedy submitted a lot of gems. I think his emeralds are almost all sold at this point, or spoken for. And so we could tell that Kennedy was a dealer, and we wanted to know more about him. And Monica Gachui's like, you don't need to know if everyone's a vegan, and was, joking with us. But he sent this, and it was really lovely. So he says, I am Kennedy Manda, 55 years old and a family man. I have been in this gemstone business, both in mining and as a dealer, for 25 years. I had my own mine mining rose quartz in, forgive my pronunciation, Mukishi, Manchanga province. Also, I was mining rubellite tourmaline in Kapiri, Mopashi, Central Province. All these years, I've been a miner and a dealer for other gemstones found in Zambia, with all necessary documents from the Ministry of Mines. Gemstone mining and selling is in my blood, and my wish is to see the industry grow. And I will do whatever I can for the miners to get their benefits. In my journey of gemstones, I have participated in many international shows which have benefited me and other miners. The emeralds I bought from the cooperative of Lufwanyama, Copper Belt Province, and the cooperative consists of more than 100 people. And I think my sale will really help these miners to produce more and improve their standards of living during these hard times. I fairly paid a good price to them, and they are willing to do more business with me. Spessartite I bought from Chama, Machinga Province, from a miner who has lots of workers, and from what looks like things, he keeps the workers well. I would like my contribution to go directly to the workers, and this is possible with the work of the association. Quartzy, I'm working with the association who are on prospecting level for quartz. It's a new stone in this part of Zambia, and with my sales, it will help the cooperation funds to do more production. I will give the cooperation lots of help, thus improving their lives and business. I will follow all the rules set by our association in the payment to the concerned parties. And I would like to thank you people for providing this platform during COVID-19 time. I will do my best to help others with my business.
Thanks.
I love it.
Yes.
So I would like to have us hear from Patricia, because you're being mentioned in the chat. But before you sort of answer some of these questions, can you just take us just a little bit of a tangential jump? You approached this work. You are a Zambian woman living and running a business from Copenhagen, Denmark. And but your vision is very much based and rooted in Zambia, in your heritage and people that you've built relationships with there. So can you first describe a little bit your business, the vision that you have had and are continuing to evolve for your business? And then we'll get to the part about sort of how your work is involved in this program that Pauline and Susan were just discussing.
So I'm from Dola, which is a mining town on the Copper Belt. And I currently I live in Denmark. I've been living in Denmark the last 28 years. So my company is basically an extension of a master's thesis paper I was working on 12 years ago, where I was looking into how to create a sustainable jewelry supply chain out of Zambia. And this came about because I had a hobby making jewelry. So when I tried to source gemstones from my jewelry hobby, I found out that I could only buy a rough, which I could not understand because, you know, we have, I knew at the time that Zambia had a gem cutting school. So I thought it'd be easy to just, you know, buy cut and polished in Zambia, but that has not been the case. So fast forward, 10 years later, after talking to multiple people in the industry, I realized that actually one of the issues with not being able to source cut and polished gemstones from Zambia was the fact that they didn't have machinery. So about a year ago, I bought a machine and actually started cutting in Zambia. Yeah, so in all this process, I mean, just to answer actually some of Pauline's questions, there are many, I see myself as, okay, apart from, you know, jewelry designer, I also see myself as a social entrepreneur. Having grown up in, on the Copper Belt, which is the mining capital, so to say, of Zambia, I can see how mining has an impact on communities in Zambia. When I was growing up, most of the mines were owned by the Zambian government. So when I went to school, I didn't have to pay to go to school. I didn't have to pay to go to the hospital. And of late, we don't have that in Zambia. So I would basically, like with my business, I would like to ensure that the Zambia's resources, in this case, you know, gemstones actually contribute to the development, you know, of extractive communities in Zambia. And I would also like to see trained gem cutters. You know, we've got over 500 trained gem cutters that have been trained in Zambia since the school was open. We've had a gem cutting school actually for 30 years in Zambia. So I'd like to see a lot of them working. I'd like to see the lapidary sector established to an extent whereby we are not exporting rough material, but we are selling cut and polished material. I would also like to see Zambian mining engineers involved in solving the artisanal mining problems that, you know, the sector has. Zambia has had, actually Zambia has got 2 mining schools, you know, one on the Copper Belt and one in Lusaka. And we've got some of the best mining engineers. I'm not bragging actually. We do have some of the best mining engineers in Africa. So I would like to see a lot of them get involved in helping artisanal, you know, working with Pauline and other artisanal small-scale miners in helping them improve, you know, the mining operations. So in all this, for example, with the gem cutting and my jewelry design, when I started, I just wanted to have a transparent supply chain for my jewelry from Zambia. Most of Zambia's gemstones are cut and polished in Jaipur. And Jaipur is 6,800 kilometers away from Zambia. 162 kilometers from the mines in Ndola, you've got a lot of unemployed gem cutters. So for me, with my business, I would really like to see more gemstones cut and polished in Zambia. I would like to see Zambian mining engineers get involved in solving artisanal miners' challenges. And having said that, you know, a lot of my inspiration for my jewelry comes from my culture, my heritage, you know, so I use that as well to connect to Zambia. So having said all that, as it is, as we speak, as I speak right now, I've been having conversations with, you know, the lecturers at the Copperbelt University School of Mines. So they are going to start focusing a lot more on teaching mining engineers, you know, issues related to artisanal mining. You know, Zambia has predominantly been a copper mining country, and now there are other resources that are also in demand, such as cobalt, you know, which is used in cell phones, and manganese, and then the gemstones that we're talking about right now. A lot of mining engineers have steered away, you know, from working with artisanal miners because they didn't think it was prestigious enough, you know. But a lot of graduates, mining engineering graduates, are unemployed. So for me, overall, with what I'm doing, it's really connecting all the dots in the value chain, you know, from the mine to the gem cutters, me here as a jeweler, and then also mentoring other jewelers, you know, on the ground in Zambia.
Thank you. That your last point, we're going to circle back to other things, but on your very last point, we had a question about whether or not what is jewelry making like in Zambia? You know, what are the Zambian jewelers doing, and do their products make their way into the international market, or are they primarily sold within country or on the African continent?
We have a lot of skilled jewelers as well in Zambia. A while ago, yeah, I live in Denmark. There's a Dane that started a jewelry company in Zambia 40 years ago, and actually trained about 40 jewelers. Further on, some of these jewelers were also trained by an Italian gemologist and jeweler. So the skills are there, but what is challenging for a lot of the jewelers, just as with the gem cutters, is actually tools. Most of the ones that I've worked with, I mean, the Danish goldsmith that I work with in Copenhagen is very impressed with their work. You know, they do very, very fine work. So in terms of sales, they do sell, most of their market is local. There's one that I was actually chatting with last night because he was very happy. He sold a piece to an American client, and the client was very impressed with his work. I've been mentoring him the last 2 years. So one of the challenges that they face is making sure that they get paid for their work. With 2 of the jewelers that I've been working with, well, you know, if I talk about one of them, you know, I show them, I have a business background. So yeah, we do, when he gets his orders, you know, we go through the sales process. So he learns how to price his jewelry, you know, set a wholesale price and a retail price. And in most cases, he gets corporate orders, you know. So sometimes when we first started working together, I thought he was charging them too little, you know. And then after doing some calculations, we put the price up and he thought it was too much. So it's like, well, you just give them this price, and if it's too much, you can negotiate, you know. But they paid, you know, the full amount, and he was very happy. So there's also a number of young ladies who are into jewelry making. The challenge for most of them is that jewelry making has predominantly been seen as a man's job. You know, there's not many, women have not been encouraged, you know, to work, you know, with metalsmithing, but that is actually changing right now. I think you're going to see in the coming year a lot of new female Zambian jewelers as well as men. It is changing, and there is also a demand, you know, for, I won't call it beautiful pieces. Let's just say there's a demand for beautiful pieces. You know, we've got generally speaking, you know, Zambian women love to dress up, you know, and love to adornment. I mean, we do have a history as part of our culture, you know, of either you know, wearing bangles or wearing, could be even waist beads or you know, earrings and all. So there is a huge market for there's a huge untapped market for jewelry in Zambia, but because, you know, like being a jeweler has, you don't, I won't say traditional, you know, like we don't have like a school in Zambia where somebody can go and train to be a jewelry designer. A lot of people are self-trained, and some people have been lucky to work with people who, like the Italian lady that lived in Zambia for many years, and the Dane that had the workshop there, you know, for many years. Some of them are very lucky to get that kind of exposure, but a lot of them are self-trained, and despite the fact that they're self-trained, they do have really good skills. What is challenge, what you know, what is missing or what they lack is actually tools.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us kind of a broad description of other parts of how the system works, where the linkages are between the cutting and the polishing and finished jewelry as well. I don't think we quite answered, there's some people are looking for clarification on when, so the stones are mined. There's always sort of the grading process and kind of the valuation process before they start sort of making their way into different buying pockets and different avenues for production. So for instance, a lower quality amethyst might go somewhere else for bead production, whereas you know, a beautiful clear rich purple might go for a fine gem cut. So can you explain a little bit about that valuation piece? And Cristina Viegas, if I am not quite putting my finger on what you're asking, can you clarify for me? So that's sort of the, and then what you have a role in that because you're working with gem cutters. And so at what point are the stones valued, and does that expertise from you, what you've observed, exist in country?
Well, in this case, with the COVID project is different because, you know, the designers have already bought the stones, and our role is to cut them, you know. But when I work with my project, you know, normally the process is, you know, you get a piece of rough, you know, and you identify, you know, what gemstone is it, and then from there you have to grade it. Is it a low grade, a high grade, or medium grade, and you know, all those grades. So pricing generally depends on where the gemstone is going to be sold. You know, the price of the gemstone in Zambia is different than the price of a gemstone, you know, at the Tucson, you know, gem market. So it's really up to yeah, it's really I guess about perception. And also depending on which gemstones that you're dealing with. I think some of them have like a standard price, but gemstones, for example, like emeralds, I wouldn't say, I mean, it really, it's, you know, I think pricing is, it's a you know, price is something that's negotiated, you know, between the buyer and the seller. You know, there's no standard price, you know, to answer your question.
Pauline, Susan, I see you just unmuted, but I have Pauline on my mind. If there is something that you would like to add to what Patricia was saying, I know you were listening and you've been in country, you know, you're local and you've been working with people. So is there anything like that you'd like to add or supplement? Oops, she just unmuted herself or muted.
Oh, Pauline, you're muted.
I got her. Yeah, we got it. You're here.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I think she has said it. All I can add is that, you know, I think we should take advantage of the school that is there in Dola, which teaches the young ones, you know, to cut and polish stones. But then we think that maybe the government should go a step further, but actually, you know, improving it to be providing gemological training. Yes, the school teaches how to cut and polish, but then it does not teach how to value the stones. And that makes it very difficult. There's no, especially for those people that are selling the rough, you know, sometimes they don't even understand the stone that they're having. And that skill, the gemological skill, is very, very important, you know, when you are actually marketing your product.
Yeah.
But then you find that most of the ASM do not have that knowledge. So as a result, you know, sometimes there are instances whereby they overprice a stone or they underprice the stone. So we are looking, you know, to a situation whereby, you know, in future, you know, the school should also provide some gemological skills. But then on the issue of having cutters, it's true, Zambia has got a lot of very good cutters, and some time back, maybe some 20, 30 years ago, in Zambia, emeralds were not allowed to be exported in rough. You know, there was a system whereby the stones had to be cut and polished locally. And the government had engaged, you know, some people from Brazil who came to Zambia to teach the Zambians how to cut and polish those stones. So when that company closed up, you know, it left a lot of trained Zambians, you know, who know how to cut. So as a result, these
Can I just add on to what Pauline said?
Please.
Yeah. is it 30 years ago or 35 years ago, Pauline? Yeah, when the Zambia Emerald company closed or started, because they trained a lot of gem cutters, and fortunately some of those gem cutters are still around. And on the Inonge Zita project, we're actually very lucky that we have one of the old men mentoring the young ladies who are cutting, you know. Oftentimes what most people don't know is that even though they say that, you know, I don't know whether it's a myth that, you know, Africans do not know how to cut. These men have actually been cutting gemstones for the international market, you know, where people send stones to Zambia, get them cut there, and then they, you know, send them out, you know. So with back to the school again, I think one of the things with the industry, it's not just men that have been trained to cut stones. There are many female gem cutters, and unfortunately a lot of them leave the industry because there are no job opportunities. At the moment I have about 8 women waiting, you know, to get a job. Unfortunately, you know, for the project, you know, I could only use 2. But with I don't want to call him old gem cutter, but he's kind of old on board. It's very it's very, you know, it's despite the fact that the women are trained and they know their skill, it's just so assuring to have somebody with so many years of experience, you know, on hand to guide them, you know. So what we're trying to do is actually see whether, because the women are literally living the industry and many of them have left the industry. We're trying to see how, we can bring some of them back in the industry. And we are doing that, via a training program where they, with his help, they actually, regain, their confidence in cutting gemstones.
Thank you for adding that, for sure. Monica Gachui, you are a vocal voice in our chat. We'd love to hear from you directly because you're sort of monitoring these developments through, in several countries. So would you mind, are you available to pop in? I see you're muted, but I've just found you on the thing. Would you mind unmuting? You don't have to go on video, but just unmute and just kind of, can you give us a little bit of a big picture view on what you're observing? How are things evolving and changing?
Thanks. Sorry for barging in to the conversation. I think I've just explained on chat. It's been very exciting to try to make the miners understand what this new way of doing business is. As Susan explained, the background of all this was we were going to just have a conference on responsible sourcing. And the idea was to get all these gemstone artisanal miners into one venue from different countries and really show them what it would mean to bring their gemstones to the market, be able to negotiate for prices, correct the information asymmetry where they have to always rely on brokers to give them what normally end up being very unfair prices. So bringing this directly to them and saying, listen, people are still willing to buy from where you are. It was, as Mama Pauline has said, it was a very strange phenomenon. It took a lot of trust down in Zambia for them to agree. And then doing it virtually, they're used that anybody buying their gemstones, they see who you are, you touch their gems, they negotiate. Telling them your gems are going to be bought virtually took a lot of trust. And now further to that, we're telling them, we're not just buying your stone, we also want the story behind that stone. Where did you mine that stone? What is the story on the ground? Is it a cooperative? How many of you mine these stones? It's a totally new way for them. Again, it has taken a lot of effort and convincing and a lot of nagging through Mama Pauline to explain to them, why do these people need to know so much about you? What does it change? What does it change from the normal way how we sell the stone when we sell it with a story? And I think they're slowly learning that this new way of thinking, these new buyers that are coming, buying, selling transparently. And the one thing I remember Susan Wheeler telling them, we also want to be fair. It's not just the usual negotiating because they're used to everybody bargaining. So when they set the prices, they tell you a price and wait because they'll know what's coming. And when they're told set a price that you'll ensure fully compensates the effort for you and you're able to feed your family, they were really shocked that there's somebody who wants to buy this stone and be a partner in the business and not really just exploit and go away with my stone. So it's a new way of doing business. It's a new way of selling stones, and doing it virtually is also quite interesting. But I think we are seeing the change and what trust could do, and this issue of transparency and how it could actually change post-COVID when people actually go back to normal engagement.
Thanks so much for jumping in. We typically go to 1:30 Eastern time, New York time, and I want to make sure that if there are other questions in the of the group that's here, if there's something that you haven't heard or you want clarity on, you want more links dropped in. So first, when Maggie and I send out our post meeting emails, we try to include all the things that were referenced during the meeting in that report. So you'll get, you know, if you're on the phone, for instance, and you're not seeing the chat, the email will include those web links, social media links, email addresses that have been shared. So you'll get that information if you're not able to capture it here. But Christina, Christina Villegas, do you want to pop in and ask your question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's like 5 Christinas here, so it's good to specify which one. Hi, everyone. Hi, Pauline and Monica and Susan and Patricia. I have to say, I'm so delighted. It fills my heart with love and joy to hear how well this program's going. So just brava to you all for that. I had some logistical questions. I was wondering if you could kind of explain how and when the miners are paid. Are they paid in cash, and then it's paid in cash by who? Or are they paid when it's exported and sold on to the jeweler? I guess if you could kind of explain that the timing and the process there. And then also with the Zambia Federation, what are the rules for joining? Who can join? Do they have to be licensed? Do they have to prove it? Things like that. And then lastly, what is the current rate of women's participation in the program? Is it 10%, 20, 30, 80, things like that? Thank you.
Pauline, there are a few things there you could speak to. So address what you would like. And you're ready to go.
Yes, I can go. Okay. Actually, on the membership of, first it's about, there are 3 questions, isn't it? There are 3 questions. The first question is on the payments. It actually varies. Like in Zambia, we pay the workers' wages every month.
We can hear you. I'm not sure, maybe something is happening with Christina's connection. We're getting reports that most of us can hear you just fine.
Can you get me? Are you getting me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, you are getting me. I was saying in Zambia, the small scale miners, some of them pay their workers every month, like myself. I pay my workers every month. Then there are others, who I would say they'll employ those workers. They'll allow them to mine in their mine and then share the products, 50%. And then after they've shared the product, the owner of the mine buys it back. So there are 2 ways. You pay them, those are permanent workers, you pay them every month, or you can get casual workers whereby they will work and then they get 50% of the product as payment, or when they get the 50% as their payment, you buy it off from them. So it's just a matter of agreeing, whichever works well for you, for you, or for both of you, the workers and the owner of the mine. Then if you pay, so now in all the instances, the 3 instances, you have to provide the food for them because the work is so much, it is manual and it needs a lot of strength. The second question is about membership. Membership to join the federation, one has to be a member of a regional association. we have got a number of associations. Actually, we have got about 14 associations in Zambia. Now, for one to become a member of the association, first have to be a member of the regional association. And then now the regional association affiliates itself to the federation. Like the women in mining are an affiliate member of the federation. But now the women in mining has got members, you know, who belong to the Association of Women in Mining. These members are, some of them are actually traders, the traders of gemstones, the traders in gold, and other base metals, and some of them are miners. So there is no direct membership into the federation. You have to be a member of a regional association first. And then the other question, what was the other question? The involvement of women in mining. Previously, I'd be comfortable to say that not more than 30% of women are involved in mining, whether colored stone or the base metals. But now with the COVID, it is even less. I would comfortably say less than 5% are actually mining during this period. See, most of them are actually off until such time when the COVID is over. So now even in the traders, most of them are men, but there are very few women who are traders in gemstone. The reason being that, you know, a lot of women actually find it very difficult to convince a buyer. It's not very easy. Like, you know, when you have to sell here locally, it's not very easy, you know, to negotiate. See, and most of the women, they don't even understand the product. Because if you don't understand the product, then it's very easy, you know, to get the right product. And some of them, they're actually cheated out. See, they would buy a stone from a miner at a high price. And the instances whereby, you know, at the time of now reselling it, they would sell it at a much lower price. Why? Because they don't understand the product. They buy something that they don't understand, and now they want to sell something that they don't really understand very well. So that's why the problem has been. And that's the reason why, as an association, you know, from time to time, we have short workshops, and we usually invite, you know, we work in collaboration with the gemstone school, and also with the gemologists from the government to come and, you know, teach our members, you know, how to identify the stones, and just have some basic gemological knowledge, so that, you know, they don't lose out when they are buying the stones and when they are selling their gemstones. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pauline, Patricia, and Susan. We can take one more comment. And so, Susan Wheeler, I was hoping that you could just say kind of really clearly out loud for the folks that are on the phone and aren't able to see the chat. If you could unmute and just say really clearly how people could connect with you and purchase stones.
So you can go to the responsiblejewelryconference.com website, and the Zambia project is listed on the front page, and that will take you to the email. And the email is buyers@responsiblejewelrytransformative.org. Monica Gachui, Jessica Hudson, and myself all monitor that email, and we work directly with the designers. And then we send everything all over to Pauline, and Pauline has a slew of questions that she answers for us. So email us directly at, I feel like an infomercial, and buyers at responsiblejewelrytransformative.org. And then we just started dialogue. And what we've found, it's just so much fun. I mean, as I said, over 336 gems up on the website right now. I've seen my dream gem. A lot of people who know my work, I work in dendritic quartz. I've only gotten it from Brazil. And now I saw Pauline listed some, and I'm excited to get that and cut it in country. So it's just, the possibilities are endless for designers. It's really just opening things up for us to design like we've never designed before. You know, some of this stuff, as I like to look at, I mean, this used to be getting one piece of rough and making like a single statement necklace from it. That used to be something that only like the historic big houses could do, you know, the Cartiers and the Van Cleef Arpels. And now every designer has access to that. And it's for a great cause, because we are running those food drives, and we are getting so excited for the next food drive, right, Pauline? And
Yes.
and we also did face masks from the women miners sewed the face mask for the last drive. So yeah, thanks for Pauline for making the food drive happen too.
Thank you.
Going and delivering. And Patricia, is there anything you want to add if some of the folks on the call would like to contact you, or if they have additional questions about cutting? Are you available to be reached out to?
Yes, I am. If you're on Instagram, you can contact me on Instagram, or on the website, you can send me a message. So yeah, I'm happy to connect.
Okay, we really can't express enough. This is where I always get teary because it takes a village, and it's so great when everyone shows up and brings their best self to these situations, and we're learning from each other in a way that, God, we couldn't ever have hoped to work together in this kind of way before. So thank you, Zoom and the internet, for creating this kind of like miraculous moment in time. And Pauline, we are grateful for your dedication, your eye for care for people, and your willingness to share what you are doing with us. Patricia, for your leadership on your work and the way you've imagined and engineered your business to be an agent of change. And Susan Wheeler, we can't thank you enough for your energy and all you're doing. So reach out to us. We schedule regular free 30-minute consults. We're going to be a little bit quieter during the month of July because we're turning inward to work on a few new projects. But we will have our living room session on July 24th. What we're working on behind the scenes is to have participants who know the miners of the Choco region of Colombia, and Ana Maria Sierra, who's on the call, is helping us with that. We're working to see if we can have a miner from the Choco, but it's looking like we'll have a representative from a refinery that is buying from that region. And the Choco is a really significant area, and the miners were African slaves brought to Colombia, bringing their their mining practices that are done in a really responsible way without mercury. And they are sort of a threatened people still. And Ana Maria has been working with them, and that's what we're working to bring to you on July 24th. So it's going to be a complex story and phone calls to put together, but that is what we're working on. So we hope you join us, same time of day, on July 24th, and let some friends know. We can host more on the call than we have so far. Visit our website and look for our follow-up email. Maggie, did I miss anything?
I think you covered everything. I just want to say, I know that it can sometimes get hard or get you down when you're thinking about all the problems in the industry, but I'm so grateful for this session, and Pauline, Patricia, Susan, Monica Gachui, Monica Stevenson, Christina Vegas, all of you are an example of how collaboration and creativity and thoughtfulness can change our industry. we don't have to do things the way we've done them before. And so thank you for giving us that kind of North Star and inspiration for how we can all come together on this. So, and thank you everyone who joined today and who's engaged and cares. Keep at it.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Christina.
Thank you.
Maggie.
You guys are wonderful.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Patricia.
Bye, Auntie Pauline.
Bye,
Thank
Pauline.
you.
Talk later.
All right, I'll let the goodbyes roll.